All right, come on back. Come on back and find your seat. But don't sit down because we're going to sing. So I'm going to invite you to stand and sing. Now, our opening song and the musician for today is Faith Rivera, who's in Hawaii. And she is starting us off with a song by Jack Fowler, God in Everything, which we already know the song a little bit. So sing along with her, and here we go.
Aloha, everyone. I invite you to sing with me, God in Everything. I see joy, I see peace, I see goodness surrounding me. I see love in every breath I breathe. I see God in everything. I see happiness, I see freedom. I see the beauty that lives in me. I see perfection in what life brings. I see God in everything. I see God in everything. I feel joy, I feel peace, I feel goodness surrounding me. I feel love in every breath I breathe. I feel God in everything. I feel happiness, I feel freedom. I feel the beauty that lives in me. I feel perfection in what life brings. I feel God in everything. I feel God in everything. I know joy, I know peace, I know goodness surrounding me. I know love in every breath I breathe. I know God in everything. I know happiness, I know freedom. I know the beauty that lives in me. I know perfection in what life brings. I know God in everything. Yes, I know God in everything. I know God in everything. Everything.
You may be seated. All right, this is the time to silence your cell phone so that it won't interrupt the process this morning, and to begin to turn within. So we have a centering song that allows us to go deep, deep. So just take it in. It begins with a long instrumental piece, and then it goes on. And then we'll have a prayer from our prayer practitioner of the morning, Rachel DePaula.
Power of now is always present, nowhere to be than where you are. The power of now flows oh so easily. The power of now is always perfect, nothing to be than who you are. The power of now flows oh so beautifully. let everything wash away. The power of now. Power of now is ever flowing, connecting us all to the one. Power of now flows on so peacefully. Be willing to let go of everything you think you need to know. Be strong enough to let go of everything you think you need to control. For everything goes away. Let everything wash away. The power of now. The power of now. The power of now. The power of now.
The power of love. The power of love is the power of spirit, the power of God, the source, all that is. It is the beautiful, joyful, amazing celebration of spring that is taking place around us here. The flowers and the trees and the grass and the sky and the clouds and the warmth, all the colors, all God bursting forth in celebration of life and joy. And that celebration, that life, that force is in, as, and through me and every single one of us. We are the joy of spring and expression. We are the joy of life. And this joy of life, this joy of connection, this joy of color and design and brightness brought us here together today. And so I know that we are all open. We're open to the joy that is here. We're open to the power of love. We're open to the gems that are to be received through the music, through the talk, through our friends, through people we know and people we're meeting for the first time. We're open to this community. We're open to all this community has to offer, all it has given us, and all that it is about to give. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful to be here. I'm so grateful for this family, for this community of wonderful, like-minded people, and the fact that we're all here by divine appointment together today. And so I release my word into the divine law of consciousness, which always accepts the imprint of my word upon it and just says, yes, yes, yes. And so it is.
I close my eyes, I open my heart, I take a deep breath, let the healing start. I lift my hands, I plant my feet, I let love in. I feel the beat that's calling, calling, calling us to rise, rise, Spirit, rise up, rise in me. I ready my soul, I clear my mind. I'm here and now, in present time. I feel the power of 1,000 suns, lighted up the dark. Oh, we rise as one. Oh, rise, rise, Spirit, rise up, rise in me. Oh, rise, rise, Spirit, rise up, rise in me, rise in me. I sing to you, I sing to you, you sing to me, you sing to me. Change up this noise, make sweet harmony. Come on and rise, oh rise, Spirit, rise up, rise in me. Oh, rise, rise, Spirit, rise up, rise in me, rise in me. Heart to heart, hand in hand, no turning back, onward to promised land. Do you feel the power of 1,000 suns, lighted up the dark? Oh, we rise as one. Love's calling, calling out your name. Love's calling, it's why we came. Love's calling, calling out your name. Love's calling, it's why we came. Come on and rise, oh rise, Spirit, rise up, rise in me. Oh, rise, yes, rise, oh Spirit, rise up, rise in me. Oh, rise up, yeah. Sing with me now, come on, rise up, yeah. Keep singing, rise up. Come on and rise up. Come on, lift your hands up, jump, reach for the sky, going up high, higher, yeah. Come on, raise your voices, shout. Love is alive, we're bringing the light brighter, brighter. Come on, lift your hands up, jump, reach for the sky, going up high, higher, yeah. Come on, raise your voices, shout. Love is alive, we're bringing the light brighter, brighter. Ooh, come on and rise up. Ooh, rise as we.
So I want to tell you a little bit about faith from the sunny shores of Hawaii. Emmy Award-winning singer-songwriter Faith Rivera opens hearts and transforms lives around the globe through the power of music. So you've probably heard some of her songs actually performed by other artists on The Voice and NCIS Hawaii. She's been featured at the Hollywood Bowl and the House of Blues, on stages from Tokyo to Rome, and audiences of all ages have been engaged and energized by her upbeat messages and music and dance. She is a first-generation Filipina, a multi-Posey Award winner, and Grace Note Award recipient. She appeared in the documentary As a Man Thinketh with Michael Beckwith, Joe Vitale, and other notables. And from music to mommyhood, Faith enjoys her life with her high school sweetheart and their 11-year-old son and 6-year-old daughter. She continues to dream those bigger dreams and dares us to be the everyday superstars we were born to be. So that's Faith. Yeah. So now we come into our series for 2022, once again, which is Living Everyday Wonder. Bringing wonder to every day, which requires some curiosity, requires some awareness and remembering that that's what the process is that we're doing. And so throughout April and May, what I've been doing is speaking about the parallels between science of mind and various world faiths and spiritual philosophies and traditions. So we've gone through quite a few of them now, and today our focus is on the path of tolerance, which is Hinduism. One of the things I learned, probably in the School of Ministry, about Hinduism was when, with most cultures, when another culture invades or comes in, or they invade somebody, the home group's culture gets lost, or its religion gets lost and taken over. But what happened with Hinduism is there was not a pushback on the religion that was coming in if somebody invaded them. They just incorporated it. They just included it because they have so many names and faces for God that they figured that's just one they didn't know the name of yet. So they just included. So I might say the heart of Hinduism is inclusion as much as it is tolerance for other beliefs and other traditions. And that impressed me. There is they have the oldest scripture in the world, the Vedas, and other scriptures along with it that are subsets of that or in addition to it. And because of that, they have a very long tradition of spiritual teachings and spiritual growth and spiritual centering that have inspired people all over the world from every continent and culture. So this is not a surprising story. An American, an Indian man from India, and a New Zealander land in purgatory. And a black-winged angel with a huge whip hanging from his belt meets them and says, "All right, these are the rules. Anyone who can stand 3 strikes from my whip without screaming will go straight to heaven. You can shield yourselves with anything you like. We have everything." Who's first? Well, the American steps forward. And the angel says, "You've got 3 hours to prepare yourself." So the American puts on full-body Kevlar outfit, gets into a tank, drives it into a concrete bunker covered with 15 feet of dirt and 1-inch-thick titanium plates. And after 3 hours, the dark angel unravels his whip. Snap! The titanium and the dirt are gone. Snap! The bunker and the tank are gone. Snap! The Kevlar is gone, and the American howls in pain. The ground's open up at his feet, and he goes straight down. "Next," says the angel. Well, the Indian steps forward. "You've got 3 hours to prepare yourself." "I only need 5 minutes." The man tells the angel, "I've studied yoga all my life, and I can make myself immune to all pain." He gets into the lotus position, chants mantras for about 5 minutes, and rises a couple of inches off the ground. Well, the angel unravels his whip. Snap, snap, snap. The Hindu is completely unfazed. "Impressive," says the angel. "Okay, you're free to go." Do you mind if I stay and watch? The Indian man says, I've heard that Kiwis are very ingenious. I'd like to see what he'll do. Your call, says the angel. Now the angel turns to the New Zealander. What are you going to shield yourself with? The New Zealander replies, bit obvious, isn't it, mate? The Indian. When somebody demonstrates their prowess, their ability, we are drawn to it. We're attracted to it. We want to engage with it. We want to get a hold of it. We want it for ourselves. So that's been going on with the Indian Hindu culture for a long time. Now, we talked about Buddhism last week, and you'll remember that, or I may or may not have said this, that Buddha was a Hindu. Just as Jesus was a Jew, not a Christian, Buddha was a Hindu. And so Buddha was a Hindu who became the Buddha. So he was in this tradition. That's what I'm actually trying to say here. So when we look at the Hindu tradition, what we discover is that they don't have a central figure. They don't have an assumption of an author of any of their scripture. It's been around for so long that no one knows who wrote it or who wrote the bits and pieces of it. And in fact, many Hindus believe that it always existed. It's an omnipresent manual of direction for life. And so in the science of mind, we have some ideas that fit along with Hinduism that we believe. We believe that God is both immanent and transcendent, which they believe. So that means that God is beyond, transcending all form and everything throughout the universe, and also is in as everything throughout the universe, or immanent. That's one of the things. The next is that we believe in the creative law of cause and effect. They wouldn't call it that exactly. They have a different terminology for it, and we don't quite believe in theirs. But there is a parallel saying that what we do and put out in the world creates a ripple effect that returns to us. Yes? And then we know that all creation expresses the one. And in Hinduism, this idea continues that that one, that supreme infinite being, is alive in each person, in every individual. So with Hinduism, the reference is to Brahman as the ground of being, that is the transcendent Brahman. And then Atman is the presence within us. So that is our individual soul's identity, its connection, the Atman. And we can reach that presence within ourselves and know who we are. So that's their teaching that goes along with it. So with Hinduism, they believe that all paths to God are sacred. All of them have something valuable to offer. Every one of them is legitimate, right? And so their creator of all that is, well, the ground of being actually, out of which everything comes, is Brahman. And so Brahman is the creator of the gods, you might say. And the main ones, out of all the ones that we see names and faces for, and who represent certain specific characteristics and traits and values that we'd love to have, we have Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. These are the trinity of the major Hindu gods. One of the things that Hindus believe is that there is an ongoing, everlasting cycle of creation, sustaining, and then destruction or dissolution. So each one of these three is responsible for one of those. Brahma, as differentiated from Brahman, Brahma is the one who creates, who brings everything forward. Vishnu is the one who keeps it going, who allows it to flourish and bring forth what it's supposed to bring forth. And then, when it has served its purpose as fully as it can, and there's no more use for it, Shiva comes along to destroy it. And he can be very brutal, but when it's time for something to go that no longer serves us, Shiva will make sure, one way or another, that it leaves us. Either we let it go, it leaves us, it gets taken away, it falls apart, whatever it is, it has to go. There's a point at which it has to go. So those are the roles of the three of them. There are 9 sort of basic things that Hindus believe. First, they believe in the divinity of their scripture, the Vedas. There are 4 Vedas, and they're long scriptures that give information and direction. At the end of each of the 4 Vedas, there's a section that's considered the cream of that particular Veda. And so if you take those 4 pieces, the cream of the Vedas, they call it Vedanta, the end of the Vedas, Vedanta. And that's where the Upanishads come from. And the Upanishads are considered to be the best direction for life. Let's see, this one comes from the Upanishads. Formless, that self-luminous being exists within and without, higher than the highest. From him issue life and mind and senses. He is the innermost self in all beings. He who knows him hidden in the shrine of his heart cuts the knot of ignorance, even in this life. In him exists all that moves and breathes. Adorable is he. He is the supreme goal. He is beyond the known and the knowable. He is that imperishable Brahman. He is the life principle. He is the speech and the mind. He is the truth. He is immortal. He is to be realized. Attain him, O friend. Now, these words are thousands of years old, and they have sustained generation after generation after generation of people. So the first belief is in the divinity of the Vedas. The second is that they believe in one all-pervasive supreme being who is both immanent and transcendent. Then they believe, as I said, that the universe undergoes continuous cycles of creation, preservation, and dissolution. They believe in their version of the law of cause and effect, which is called karma, which means that over the course of our lifetimes, we accumulate, you might say, good points and bad points. And the bad points that we accumulated over the course of a lifetime, we carry on with us to the next lifetime, because the next belief they have is in reincarnation, that we continue to be reborn again and again and again until we have balanced out or neutralized all of the negative karma we've ever created, and we're not producing any more. We're only producing good karma, good results, nothing else. Then the cycle of rebirths ends, and we are liberated from that. So karma is how we each create our own destiny through our thoughts and feelings and behavior. And then the soul reincarnates until we finally get it all the way through, and no one will be left out. No one will be left out. So last week, I talked a little bit about Kuan Yin as a bodhisattva, meaning one who has already achieved that state of enlightenment, but chooses not to then go into the one infinite, but to stay out to help all the rest of us get in. And it said that the bodhisattvas will hold themselves out from the infinite until even the grass is enlightened. So the recognition is that no soul will be deprived of the destiny. They also believe that divine beings exist, like angels and demons, in unseen worlds, and that temple worship, rituals, sacraments, and devotionals and spiritual practices create communion with the devas, with the gods. They also believe that a guru is necessary, that in order to achieve liberation, you need a master teacher that you are devoted to, that you follow, that you obey, who helps you to move in the direction they can see you need to go in order to come into that greater fullness. And they teach personal discipline and good conduct, purification and pilgrimage, self-inquiry and meditation. They also believe all life is sacred, to be revered and loved, which is why they practice non-harmfulness, which is called ahimsa. And non-harmfulness is why Hindus are vegetarian, because they don't even want to step on an ant. They will go out of their way to protect every living thing they see. They also believe that no particular religion teaches the only way to salvation above all the others. They recognize and believe that all of them have something to give and suit those who are on those paths. So those are their 9 beliefs. They also have 5 obligations. One is worship, daily worship in their family shrine room with ritual and chants and yogas and religious study. They believe in their holy days, which include fasting and attending the temple on Mondays or Fridays and other holy days. They believe in living a life of duty and good conduct, virtuous living. And they're taught the value of pilgrimage. So they're taken at least once a year for a blessing, for darshan, to holy people, temples, places near and far, depending on what they're able to do. And they have rites of passage. They're taught to observe their many sacraments that mark and sanctify their passages through life. So they have rites for birth, name giving, head shaving. That's a new one. I don't have a ritual for head shaving. I should get one of those. First feeding, ear piercing, first learning, coming of age, marriage, and death. They have sacraments for all of those. They also have, as I've talked about before, 4 yoga paths, so that depending on your personality, you might be one who achieves connection with the divine through service, or through devotion, or through inward discipline and spiritual study and meditation, or through self-inquiry, where you're always observing and asking questions, the deepest questions of yourself, like, who am I? Really, who am I? Beyond all my labels, beyond my body, beyond my thoughts, beyond my personality. Who am I? So those are the 4 paths. And then there are also 4 life stages. And so the 4 life stages are marked by how old you are and what time it is in your life. So for the first part of life, everybody is a student. That's the first stage of life. The second stage of life is the householder. Usually that's a merchant class of people, and the householder is married, has children, sustains them, sustains the family, supports the priests and the holy men, and fulfills one's duties toward the gods and the ancestors. The third stage of life begins after all the grandchildren have been born and consists of withdrawing from all material things, pursuing solitude and ascetic and yogic practices. So this may be the stage of life that some of us would be in if we were Hindus, the stage where we begin to withdraw from engaging in the everydayness. And then the 4th stage is as a wanderer. At that stage, when people reach it, they renounce all possessions, and like Peace Pilgrim, they become nameless, homeless renunciants, and they travel, they beg for their meals, they sleep wherever they land, and if they were to encounter anyone in their family in another town or place, the family would know not to acknowledge them because they no longer know who that person is. They have no name, they're not who they were anymore. So that's the final stage, and their concern is only union with Brahman, complete liberation into the one. Now, I've talked about some of the beliefs that they have already, and I'm going to touch upon a few others in just a minute, and also the literature. But I need to say that the literature, although I can give you the names of the various pieces, is immense amounts of writing. The Mahabharata, for example, is 25,000 verses. So I don't think people memorize it like they would the Quran or to try to memorize the Bible. It would be a little bit of work to memorize the whole Mahabharata, although there may be people who have done that. So they have beliefs in karma, as we spoke about, in reincarnation. They have belief in ahimsa, or non-harmfulness, belief in the guru, who is the master, the enlightened one, and belief in Atman, which is the presence of the divine within them. So those are some of the things that you will find common to Hindus everywhere, and it's easy to discover those words in any of the writings. Then in the scriptures, they have the 4 Vedas, of course, which they consider to be their primary scriptures, and then the subset of that, which is Vedanta and the Upanishads, the cream of the Vedas, the end of the Vedas, the focus of the Vedas. And then they have 2 epic poems. They have the Mahabharata, which is very long, and a subset of that is the Bhagavad Gita, which you've probably heard about, and that's the story of how Krishna goes to support Arjuna when he and his cousins, his side of the family and his cousins, are at war over who's going to govern. And his side, of course, in this story is the good guys. And meanwhile, as Arjuna is looking at the battlefield, Krishna is talking to him. Krishna shows up as his advisor, but it's Krishna. Krishna is the blue-skinned God who is a manifestation of Vishnu, the sustainer. And so Krishna shows up and supports him and assists him. And then we have, oh shoot, I'm way ahead of myself here. How did I do that? Well, we'll just lay there then. My hookup isn't working, so I'm using the clicker, so I got ahead of myself. But then we have the Ramayana, which is another epic poem about Rama and Sita. And it's another situation where somebody's, Rama's natural inheritance to govern is stolen by one of his half-brothers. And he honors his father's final promise to this half-brother, and he's exiled for 14 years, and he meets Sita and falls in love with her, and they meet Hanuman, the monkey god who's a servant, and he helps them get free and get back to their kingdom after 14 years. So it's a long poem that tells you all about that. So now we come to our own teachings. And one of the things I love about Ernest Holmes, the founder of Centers for Spiritual Living, is the way in which he was so curious about all of the world faiths that he went and read enormous amounts on every single one of them and gleaned certain threads of wisdom from each one that he then found in other faith traditions as well. And so when he began to see them show up here and there and here and there, and also in science and also in philosophy, he said to himself, okay, this is where truth resides, is where all these things are intersecting. And so he took on great study of Buddhism and Hinduism to look into these things. So we teach in the Centers for Spiritual Living that God is immanent and transcendent, that there is a law of cause and effect, that spiritual practice leads to inner peace, and we honor all the paths to God, as we're talking about them this morning. Those things arise in our tradition partly out of Hinduism, because Holmes studied those things. He understood what was being brought forward there as best a Westerner could. And so we might then find ourselves asking, if we take a Hindu perspective on life, we might find ourselves asking the question, who or what do I look on as other that it's really now time for me to welcome and embrace and bring in and accept? And for all of us, there's something or someone, and it might be a quality of our own that we're always pushing away and rejecting. Or it might be our projection of that quality on somebody else, so we see them doing it, and we don't like seeing that. Can anybody relate to that? And then you realize, oh yeah, I do that too. So humbling, so frustrating and embarrassing, isn't it? So Holmes, with all of the study he did, wrote this, and you can find this in The Science of Mind. Brahma, Lord of all creation, Lord of wisdom, Lord of right, lead us from the paths of folly. Lead us from darkness into light. Brahma, joy of all creation, life of life and love of love. Gently lead us to salvation. Lead us to the heights above. Thou within all things, around them, Brahma, light of life divine. Shatter all our days of dreaming. Change our being into thine. Rob the mind of its illusions. Strip the ego, naked, bare, till the waiting heart within us finds thy presence hidden there. Let the soul awake to Brahma, that it no more separate be, that the life that seemed divided be not lost, but found in thee. So this is Holmes' love poem to Brahma, the creator God of all that we see, of all that is, part of the Hindu Trinity. And two, Holmes talks about the spirit, the soul, which is the law, and the body or form of everything that comes into being. And those three things he connects to the Christian Trinity and the Hindu Trinity. So in Christianity, you have Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, or Holy Ghost. In Hinduism, you have Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. And we have spirit, soul, and body. That's the flow of the three. That threesome comes back around again as part of the divine connection. So let's take a moment now to go within and center ourselves in prayer, in the recognition that we can open to allow ourselves to include more people, more ideas, more possibilities, more qualities. So as we turn within, we awaken and allow ourselves to be illuminated by the light of spirit. And as we are illumined, we recognize that we are that. If we were to summarize all of the Hindu writings, all of the scriptures, one sage says they can be summarized by saying, "Thou art that." So we, as manifestations of that divine presence, no matter what we think about ourselves or what it looks like, we are not missing any of the divine qualities. Nothing has been left out of us that we have need of. We do not lack for any possibility. The availability is right here with us, but we must surrender our attachment to the appearance, however convincing it seems to be, to the appearance of lack, to the appearance of pain, to the appearance of loss, to the appearance of being bullied. We open ourselves to the possibilities that meet those appearances. We open ourselves to the resolution of those things in our willingness to let them go, to allow ourselves to become renewed and rediscover who we are as the problem falls away. Who are we now? Will we open to that discovery with wonder, with curiosity, with delight, and we welcome the more that is revealed. The more that comes to be revealed in our lives, in our speech, in our thoughts, in our actions. And we are grateful for this broader vision, for this deeper compassion, for this expanded inclusion, which allows us to include all of ourself. And so with gratitude, we set this prayer to work in us, for us now. And we claim this same truth for all sentient beings everywhere, letting this prayer go into the law, letting it do its work, letting the work be exactly as it shows up. And together, if you agree with this that has been spoken, we say together, and so it is. Yes. So now I'd like to invite you to stand and join me in the morning's affirmation, right up here on the screen. And we will say this together. All right. I make space for others just as they are. I respect their uniqueness and am grateful for the amazing diversity of humanity on this planet. That's short, so let's say the whole thing again. I make space for others just as they are. I respect their uniqueness and am grateful for the amazing diversity of humanity on the planet. Thank you. You may be seated. It's time for our sacred giving. And as we do our sacred giving, I just want to remind you that miracles happen every day out of our giving. We just received, out of the blue, $400 from somebody's investment fund. They called me up and said, give us your mailing address, send us your nonprofit status so we know we can send this to you. And they sent us $400 out of the blue, completely unexpectedly. And that kind of thing is what happens in our lives when we are engaged in the flow. That's the giving and the receiving too. So as we do this sacred offering, we recognize that not only is what we're giving here part of the divine substance that's been given to us, it also is God, because if the infinite is omnipresent, what else is it going to be, right? So if you'd like to donate this morning via text, you can do that. The number is on the screen there. And for those of us that are giving our offering this morning, I invite you to hold it near your heart. Or if you're giving it with a loved one, to hold it in your hands together as we say our offering blessing together right now. This gift I give is God in action. I now send it forth to bless and to prosper. I know that everywhere it goes, it is creating a world living in love, one heart and one thought at a time. And so it is. And remember that as we say, this gift I give is God in action, I now send it forth. We are sending God forth as that offering with the intention that it will bless and prosper. So that's what we're doing with what's being given this morning and what has been given throughout this week right now.
Vibrant colors fill this place. See the warmth in every face. Look around at the rainbow of people who come to praise. Single mothers dressed in red stands next to a world war vet. And up in the front there are children, brown, black, and white. Oh, the candle glows and the spirit flows. The word's been brought to life. We come together today, put every difference away to share our colors of praise. We blend our voices with love, reach out to what God above. We shout with colors of praise, colors of praise. Ooh, ooh. each walk on different paths, but to find a love that lasts. Here to paint a picture in gladness and joy in God. Some in t-shirts, some wear ties, many who have changed their lives. From the streets we have come to make this place our very home. Oh, the candle glows and the spirit flows. The word's been brought to life. We come together today, put every difference away to share our colors of praise. We blend our voices with love, reach out to one God above. We shout with colors of praise, colors of praise. Pink rose, red glow, purpleness, cool black, love lasts. Evermore I said God flows like a rainbow, and our hearts know as the joy grows, and we all show the colors of godliness. Oh, the candle glows and the spirit flows. The word's been brought to life, brought to life. Put every difference away to share our colors of praise. We blend our voices with love, reach out to one God above. We shout with colors of praise. We come together today, put every difference away to share our colors of praise. Reach out to one God. Ooh, colors of praise. Colors of praise. Colors of praise. Love flows like a rainbow. We all show the colors of godliness. Sing with me. Love flows like a rainbow. We all show the colors of godliness. Oh, love flows like a rainbow. We all show the colors of godliness. Like a rainbow, we all show the colors of godliness.
Thank you, Faith. All right. So we do all with great gratitude accept these gifts on behalf of Golden Gate Center for Spiritual Living and send them out into the world to create more good and blessings and surprises and wonders everywhere they go. And so it is. Now, if you're here with us this morning for the very first time, welcome. We're delighted that you made it to us. And you will find on the table, back behind Tinman, right back there, that we have a welcome packet available for you that you can pick up. The envelope says welcome on it. And inside, you're going to find one of these blue cards that says welcome. Fill it out, turn it in at the table back there, and we're going to give you a little book to take with you as our thank you for you being here with us this morning. We hope that you'll enjoy that and come back and be with us often in the future. Also, I want to thank everyone who is in sacred service this morning to get everything set up for us. William, who gets everything filmed so that we can put it on our website and on YouTube. And I want to thank the Frost family for the beautiful altar this morning that honors Ukraine, but also Hinduism and maybe a smidge of Buddhism. It was from Nepal, so they cross over there. So you can come up and appreciate the whole thing of the Eastern philosophies right there this morning. It's quite beautiful. Let's give a hand to everybody that's in sacred service this morning. I want to especially introduce to you and welcome, in case you missed this last week, we have a new team leader for Heart to Heart, and that is Sue Ruda, who's right here. Sue, would you stand up and give everybody a wave? And so Sue will be shepherding that group and chairing the meetings and taking care of the pastoral care side of our community when people need rides or meals or just somebody to visit with, somebody to pray with them. The Heart to Heart team gets that done for them. Also, if you're interested in serving at the food bank, we have one more slot that we're committed to, and that's June 14th. We're doing signups now because the food bank wants the names 2 to 3 weeks ahead, actually, of when the event is. So the way that you let it be known that you'd like to participate for that 2 hours is 10 to 12 on a Tuesday, is to text or email Ellen Nicosia. And you can see her information up there. Let her know your name, your contact information, and that you're available for that date. Give her your phone number and so on, and she'll contact you with the rest of the details. Also, I want to let you know that Susie Coity is here this morning. Susie, do you want to come up and say something about this Cleaning Up the Shoreline event? She is organizing us, at least.
Good morning. Well, trash everywhere is expanding at unfortunate rates. And when I first moved to California in 1978, there were huge signs that said litter, $1,000, and now people don't seem to respect those. So I've actually been doing it for a couple of years. My husband and I do it in Point Richmond, but I wanted to expand it. So Linda's been helping me with Marin. So we did it a month ago for Earth Day. So I decided we need Earth Day every month. And so we're going to be doing it this Saturday from 10 to 12 at Target parking lot. And so we'll start for 10. It's amazing how much you can pick up in trash in an hour. So last time we got like 10 big bags, and then I provide lunch afterwards. So it's great exercise, it's fun. You'll just amazing, they have great results, you know, trash, and an hour later it's all gone. So if anybody wants to come and help, I'd love to see you on this Saturday.
Thank you, Susie. And the bags, the garbage bags, the gloves, and lunch are provided. So talk to Susie, or you've got her email address up there. You can also let her know that way that you would like to participate. And I didn't mean to skip over this one. There is a spring hike coming up this Thursday, and you're going to gather at 9:45 at Endeavor Street, which is a little different location from when this walk happened before, at 9:45 a.m. Please do let Steve or Deborah know that you plan to attend, Steve Einhaus or Deborah Irwin, by either emailing them or texting them, or because if you're coming and you're running late, we don't want them to leave without you. So you can go. This is going to be a lovely walk, and you get to see the Mariposa lily, which doesn't exist anywhere else but right there. And that will be a beautiful thing to experience. Okay, we talked about the shoreline cleanup. Yep. And also, marincommutes.org. This is our climate action tip for this week. Visit marincommutes.org. They have a ton of great suggestions for how to get around locally here in ways that can help reduce the impact of automobiles. And even if what you need is advice on how to drive clean. So that's a great website. It also has information about getting free emergency rides. So go there, you can download their newsletter, subscribe to it, and so on. All right. Now I want to remind you that our prayer table is available every Sunday. We have 3 practitioners on duty this morning. They are available for prayer immediately following the service today. So if anything gets stirred up on Sunday morning, or if you come in with something bothering you, you don't have to carry that back out with you again. Stop at the prayer table, request prayer, and our practitioners will take you to a more private space and do a prayer with you. That's their gift to you on Sundays. The prayer box is also over there. I'm going to invite the practitioners now to surround the room, and would you all bring me the prayer box? Every Sunday when you come in before the service, you can go over and make a written prayer request if you like, or after the service as well. The practitioners who are on duty on the table this morning will be the ones who will pray over your request for a full week. So they'll pray with you for the resolution or the clarity and guidance that you're looking for. But right now, we're going to do the prayer knowing that whether your request is already in the box or you're holding it in your heart this morning, it hasn't been forgotten. So let's turn within and know together that the infinite mystery is what we're made of. It is everywhere in its fullness always. It is the essence of love and wisdom and possibility. And we're made out of that love and wisdom and possibility and imbued with the freedom to call it forth in our own lives and to use it wisely or not. And so we open to knowing that whatever we're requesting prayer for, whatever prayers we have asked for already or are holding in our hearts, we release these now into the creative law. We release them into the law, asking that the highest and the best for that situation, well, not even asking, stating, knowing, declaring, affirming, welcoming, demanding that which is the highest manifestation of divine wholeness is now showing up in that situation or circumstance, in mental clarity, in guidance for the right and perfect next steps for this situation for us in this here and now moment. And as we let go of the problem and turn to this infinite well of resources and guidance, we find the bridge that moves us forward into resolution. We are grateful to know that this creative law exists. We're grateful for this prayer, for this reminder of our ability to speak the truth with authority and allow it to manifest for us in form. So letting go of anything unlike it, it is neutralized and released, and we let the prayer go now into the law. We don't need to do anything more to make it happen. That's the job of the law. We let it go and surrender to the good. And so we do. And so it is. Amen. Thank you, Dana. Now I invite you to please stand and join me for the benediction and the closing song. So we know this benediction, this is ours. Say it with me. I now walk so that whoever walks beside me dwells in the presence of God, and whoever places a hand in mine is lifted, and whoever thinks of me is illumined with God consciousness, for spirit and all people and I are one eternally, and so it is. And this closing song, Faith, is including Harold Payne, and you'll see the words up here so we can sing it together. The chorus will be easy, and the rest of it you'll figure out.
Yeah. Something great is happening. Love has taken hold and it won't let go of us now.
Something here is calling us forward, upward motion that drops in one ocean. Roll on.
Will you rise up with me today? Lift up your voice and boldly say, we are the ones we've been waiting for.
Live to dream of your highest calling, in the hope of a new day dawning. We're the ones who can make a difference and stand together. Share this with the world that's waiting for a change that will we're all creating. It's the moment for our greatness. Let's stand together now.
Right now.
Hey, hey.
Every day's a chance you can do something amazing to feel your passion blazing and shine. Yeah.
Paint with every vision,
Oh,
dance in
dance.
new directions, explode to new heights in your mind.
I will rise up with you today.
Lift up my voice.
Lift up my voice and boldly say, we are the ones we've been waiting for.
Live the dream of your highest calling. Be the hope of a new day dawning. We're the ones who can make a difference. Let's stand together. Share your gifts with the world that's waiting for a change that we're all creating. It's a moment for our greatness. Let's stand together now.
Right now.
Ooh. One dream, one voice, one heart, one world. One dream, one voice, one heart, one world. One dream,
One dream.
one voice,
One voice.
one heart,
One heart.
one world.
One world.
Live the dream of your highest calling. Be the hope of a new day dawning. We're the ones who can make a difference. Let's stand together. Share your gifts with the world that's waiting for a change that we're all creating. It's a moment for our greatness. Let's stand together now.
Live the dream of your highest calling.
Hey,
Be the hope of a new day dawning. We're the ones who can make a difference. Let's stand together. Share your gifts with the world that's waiting for a change that we're all creating.
it's a moment for our greatness. Let's stand together now. Hey,
Ooh. Let's stand together now.